Hey. So, it's been a very long time since I did any kind of an updated video. And this isn't really any certain subject. This is kind of just a catch 'em up one. I wasn't sure if we were going to continue doing them back. Trying to think of how far back I have to go. But back when my first show aired, which was like February 18th or something of 2015. Back when that one aired, well, before that actually is when we had started doing some little clips here and there just to track my progress, good and bad, just so I could look back on it and remember it, like when I got the surgery, how hard it was for me to walk, how hard it was when I was recuperating from the gastric bypass. And then, but before the gastric bypass, I also got the hernia repair, and they put a filter in the main vein in my stomach to keep me from getting a blood clot before gastric bypass, and something else, a third thing. Hernia repair, the filter, I can't remember. Anyway, I had 3 surgeries in September of 14, and then in December of 14 is when I got the gastric bypass. So I had 4 surgeries total within 3 months' time. Okay, so I started doing, having Dill do these little clips and stuff just so I could remember how I'm feeling or remember how I'm healing, or I'm just afraid that sometimes I don't remember things, and my short-term memory is going away sometimes. So I wanted to just have it so I could track it and remember it later. So anyway, my very first show aired February 18th or 20th of 2015. And when it aired, they put some things on there to make me look really bad, and I was very unhappy with how it came out. And so right after that, I made about a 20-minute clip and put it on YouTube as my response to that show, because I felt like I had no way to say my side of it. And so anyway, I tried to remember every single thing on the show that I was not happy with, and I tried to respond to it, saying my version of it. Well, they didn't like that at all, and within a week or a week and a half or something, they sent me a certified letter saying to take it down right away, or they were going to do, I'm not sure what. I think they threatened to sue me, which I don't understand how you can do that when I have government funds and very little of them, so I'm not sure what they would have done, but they hadn't paid me yet, and so I took it down, and to make sure that I got paid and everything, and just to keep from having trouble with them, because I really am not a trouble starter. I really didn't have a problem with them and stuff, so I just wanted to keep the peace. So I took it down, and then I continued filming even after they, I think I had 5-6 months space where there was no filming. The show had aired. Noodle, I'm sorry if I'm going to make reference to the dog now and then because they're messing with stuff. But anyway, I had a few months break where there was no filming, and I was still recuperating, because also when my show aired in February, I had just had the gastric bypass in December, so I had literally just had it like 2 months before that. So when they were saying that I hadn't lost that much weight, in a sense that was true, but it was only because I didn't have enough time to lose very much weight. It had only been 2 months. And so anyway, I had a little break, 6 months or whatever it was with no filming, and then they came back and started filming again, and they were filming for the follow-up that most recently just aired in May. I forget which day that aired also, but sometime mid-May the follow-up aired. So, anyway, I wasn't sure if I was going to do clips for YouTube anymore. I was still doing some now and then just for my own memories, just for me to look back on, or for Dylan to have later, long after I'm gone, or whatever. So we were doing some videos still just as, my memories, but not so much because we were going to post them. And so that's why, and then also because they had said we had to take them down is why they hadn't been up for such a long time. So now fast forward from February of 15 until now, and my contract has expired with them, which is why I'm able to put them up right now. But I haven't had my skin removal surgery yet, and I'm thinking that once I am ready to have that, because he wants me to get down around 300. On my follow-up show, it said I weighed 308, but I do not. Honestly, I don't know exactly how much I weigh. I think I weighed about 358 at my last weigh-in in May of 16. And I have not went to the doctor since then, so that's June, July, August, September, October, so that's like 5 months. So I can't say that I've been dieting religiously, but I also have not been like pigging out on junk food, so I really don't know how much I weigh right now this moment. I have no clue. I'm thinking it's right around the same, maybe within 10, 15 pounds, could be a little more, could be a little less. I honestly don't know. So my plan is to just, crack down, try to lose at least a good 20 pounds or whatever. And whenever I get closer to 300, then I can get my skin removal surgery. So that is still my goal. I haven't gotten it yet, but once I get to that point, then I'm sure they're going to want to film it, and they're going to want to, have me sign another contract. So if all of a sudden the clips come back down again, it's going to seem very odd and weird, but that will be why. It will be because they have a problem with it because of the contract or whatever. I'm going to try to talk to them about leaving them up because it really doesn't have a lot to do with their show. It's not like I'm giving some unspoken information that nobody would ever know without watching it. Like, it's not a bunch of big secrets. I'm not talking crap about them. I really don't have anything bad to say about them. I wasn't happy with, and I still continue to not be happy when they turn and twist information and, to try to get higher ratings or to make it juicy or whatever. That has never made me happy, and that will never make me happy. And that's just a fact. But other than saying that, I don't have anything bad to say about them. I'm very grateful for Dr. Now for saving my life, as are all the cast members. We all were very fat people that just needed some help, and he helped us, so we're all very grateful, and for the most part, I think we all are so happy that we did this. And whether there was ups and downs, like I was in the hospital for almost 3 months, and I think at some point I almost died. And, there was some little miserable moments here and there that comes along with this kind of stuff. But overall, I feel like very grateful and very happy that I did it. And I'm still on that journey now as we speak. My goal weight is 200. So technically I kind of have about 150 to go. Dr. Now thinks that I have about 50 pounds worth of skin to be removed. So if that's the case, then I have about 100 pounds of body weight to lose on my own, and then 50 of it will be skin. So as you can see, I'm not sure exactly how much the camera is showing. I think it's mostly showing the chair. I used to totally fill out chairs of this size. I'm pretty stretched out right now. I'm, relaxed, and I still have a good 4 or 5 inches left on this side. The dogs can sit here or whatever. So I'm quite happy and grateful with the point that I'm at. I could have done better. I will be the first one to admit that I haven't been super strict on myself, and I probably could have lost a lot more weight by now, but I've just been kind of relaxing or not being real stressed out about it. I've just been, some days I'll be real strict about the diet, and some days I'll have a potato or something sweet or whatever. Like, I'm never gonna say I'm perfect, because I'm just not. And you can't go from being a foodaholic for 50 years and just cut it off overnight cold turkey. So there are some times when I struggle about about eating the right things. So I'm not perfect, and I'll probably have this struggle forever, where some days I'm doing really good diet-wise, and some days I'll sneak and have a little soda or something, which I'm absolutely not supposed to have, or candy, which I'm absolutely not supposed to have. Those are my 2 big struggle things, candy and soda. I do not have them every day, and I do not have them 5 days a week or anything, but there are times when I've had them once or maybe twice in a week. So I'm not on here to try to say that I'm good or bad with dieting. That is not even my point. I'm just trying to say that I'm not perfect, and I don't think any person that weighed 700 pounds and 600 pounds and 500 pounds, it's not that easy to just give it all up cold turkey overnight. It's just not super easy to give it up. So for the most part, I feel like I do pretty good. I'm still very much learning portion control. I now, after surgery, I feel like I don't have the actual feeling of being hungry or being full. I don't feel starving or full anymore. I don't have a feeling. Like, it's all in my head. I either eat so much and think, okay, that's enough. For someone in my position, have had surgery, and my stomach's only supposed to be the size of an orange or whatever it's supposed to be, this amount should be enough. So I'll stop when when I think that that's enough. Or when it's been 4 or 5 hours and I still don't feel hungry, in my mind I feel like I should be hungry, so I'll eat. In fact, I usually eat about every 3 to 4 hours, because if I don't, and then when I finally do eat something, it actually makes me sick. Like, if I go too long without having something in my tummy, and I don't mean it could just be anything, like maybe 4 bites of, I don't even know whether it's a salad or whether it's a piece of meat or cottage cheese or yogurt. If I go more than 3 or 4 hours without having a few bites of something, like, just for example, I don't remember the exact day, it doesn't even matter, but I went to bed. It was during one of the days that I was sick, because I am, by the way, just getting over being sick. I've been sick for probably the last month. First, I had cellulitis in my leg, and I was on antibiotics. And then, like, 2 days after I came down with that, I got a major chest cold. Well, first it was a head cold where my sinuses were really bad, and then it turned into a chest cold. So I've been pretty hardcore sick for about the last month. But anyway, so let's just say you go to bed at like 9 o'clock at night. I never go to bed at 9, but since I've been sick, I had been going to bed earlier. And so I went to bed at 9, and the next morning, I've never been a morning breakfast person, ever. And so the next morning I wake up and go potty and go back to sleep because I like to stay up late and go to and sleep in a little bit. Well, anyway, I went to bed around 9ish or so, and I think the next morning, by the time I got up and started thinking about eating, it was like 11:30 a.m., almost 12 noonish. So that's like what, 15 hours without eating. And so I ate, what the heck did I have? I think I had oatmeal. Oatmeal and a little bit of milk, maybe a little bit of applesauce. I can't remember what I had exactly, but it was nothing bad. And within 45 minutes, I was sick. I had diarrhea. I was doing the dry heaves like I needed to throw up. It's just a long example that I probably shouldn't be talking so much because I know I'm a talkaholic. But that's just an example. Like when I go a super long time like that, 9, 12, 15 hours, when I finally do eat something, even if it's not too much sugar or too much fat, it makes me sick. It gives me diarrhea. It gives me the dry heaves like I have to throw up. It just is not good. It's just a whole new system that I have now after surgery. So I always feel the need to eat something within, for sure, after 4 hours. That's minimum. But after it's been 4 hours, I need to find something. I know Dr. Now doesn't like us to have salads and not even very much fruit or vegetables because he said that it's a lot of fiber and it will take up the space and then we will be too full for our protein. But I always eat some protein first. And then I'll make little salads and I'll just have them ready in the fridge. And sometimes after about 3 or 4 hours, I'll just eat like the equivalent of maybe 6 to 8 bites of a salad. But I put protein in there. I put little pieces of cheddar cheese. I put little pieces of chicken. I chop up a boiled egg and I put a little bit of tomato and some celery. Like I feel like it's a pretty healthy salad. And I very much enjoy my salads. So I don't eat a big, huge salad, and if I go to a restaurant and I get a side salad or something, I'll eat like maybe a fourth of it, and then I'll take the rest home in a little to-go thing. But it does have a lot of fiber in it, and it's just something that really tastes good to me now. I've always loved salad, but it tastes super good to my taste buds now. And after surgery, your taste buds change. Things that I used to love, I really don't care for some of them now. Things that I used to did not like, I actually like pretty well right now. So everything changes. Like you just can't really count on anything anymore because things do change. So anyway, I'm rambling and getting myself way off sidetracked. So anyway, so now fast forward to now, and the very near future, I should be hopefully getting closer to 300 and then getting my skin removal surgery. And my plan is at that point, after I get that done, then to heal from that. It's going to take 2 or 3 months to heal from it. And then, hopefully I can have some money saved or whatever so that we can move back to California because we were born and raised there. And I, for whatever reason, just love California. It's home to me. So, and I know I used to complain before about we had so much bad luck when we first got to Houston, but things are leveling out. I'm happy to say that I feel pretty good here. I feel like, knock on wood, that we're not going to have a bunch of bad luck stuff happening anymore. And, things are looking up, and, Dill's got a job, so we're able to make the bills. We actually got a car. It's a used car, but it's new to us. It's really nice. It's a Ford Edge, kind of like a little small SUV type car. And you know, the good thing is that the bills are paid and we have a roof over our head and some food in our belly. We can pay the bills and keep stuff going, but the only thing that we have trouble covering is food and recreation. So if we're short on money, we don't eat too good for that month. And it's weird to say, you know, fat girl and her chunky son go hungry, but sometimes we do. Sometimes it's a top ramen month and we eat a lot of ramen noodles, which is not good for me at all. So I try to catch sales and stock up on meat, you know, buy family size packages and portion it out, put it in the freezer. And luckily Dylan does like top ramen noodles or a little cup of soups or whatever, though it's not good for him either. There's a lot of times where we have a lot of peanut butter and bread or ramen noodles, you know, whatever's the cheapest that we can handle. I buy a box of tea bags and make myself iced tea. Dill likes water, so we don't really buy a bunch of soda, and you know, things are tough sometimes food-wise, but the good side is we have a roof over our head, we have a nice car, you know, by the time we pay insurance and, you know, utilities and internet and cell phone and all the minimum things that you need to have a lifestyle, we're pretty broke. So there's not a lot of recreation and there's not a lot of food or definitely not a lot of steak or things that cost a lot of money. So, but I'm not complaining. Like, I'm very happy that we do have, you know, the roof over our head and we're maintaining a lifestyle. We got a couple of cute little dogs that we love, and it's a pretty simple life. You know, I go to the pool. I was going to the YMCA, which I adore, but once we got the car, I couldn't afford to pay for that anymore, so I'm back to the free pool, which is free if you have any kind of a disability. Just have the doctor sign a note for you. So back to going to the free pool, and so things are doing good right now. I really can't have any complaints. Just getting over the cold, and you know, life is a little bit boring. I will say that. Like, you know, I don't have a lot of recreation, and other than going to the pool and taking the dogs out for a walk, or to the dog park or whatever, I really have been applying actually for an at-home job that you can do on your computer. I've been trying to work on that, and that would be good because that would give me something to do, and it would give me a few bucks for some recreation. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. It'd be great if I could get that going. I can't. So in one of our last videos, the older ones that, you know, because we haven't really taped any videos for a good year, probably about a solid year, because right after that is when I got really sick and ended up in the hospital for almost 3 months. Dylan did a really good job explaining to you guys what happened. The only thing that I feel like maybe wasn't clear is that when I did get that sickness, when I got stuck in the bathroom and stuff, my left leg and my left arm became numb. And so what scared me was I thought maybe I was having a stroke or something, because that's normally stroke symptoms. So that's why I said, you know, call the ambulance, let's get me to the hospital in case I was having a stroke. Well, once I got there and they found out that my blood pressure was low, 40/20, which apparently I could have died from and didn't realize it. Anyway, my blood pressure was very low. It was during that trip when I went to the hospital, and they found out about my blood pressure. They got IVs, they got everything going. Well, after I stabilized and got better, I had no strength in my left leg and arm. The two that were numb were not numb anymore, but I lost all the strength in them. Like, I'm left-handed. I couldn't even lift up my arm to, like, brush my hair. I tried to lift my leg up while I was laying in bed. I had no strength in my left leg and arm. And it was pretty scary. And so it was after the first 30 days when I was super sick, and that's when they found out that I had, the doctor put the camera down my throat to see what was going on in my stomach because nothing was staying down. And it was then that I guess that my ulcer got perforated. And then he had to like cut me open. I got about 18 stitches now, or not stitches, but a scar from 18 stitches of when he opened me up to fix my ulcer. And so for 30 days when I was kind of out of it and I was in bed just healing from that big, like I had like from right under my boobs to like my belly button, that whole area was opened up. And I had stitches from that. So while I was healing from that, after I healed from that, when I, came back to, I couldn't hardly feed myself. I couldn't brush my hair. Like, I just had no strength. So then at the second hospital I went to is when they started me on physical therapy, and they would put me in a Hoyer lift and get me out of bed into the wheelchair, and then they would have me try to stand up, and there was these like parallel bars in front of me, and I'd have to try to stand up, and they had a belt around me, and they were both on each side trying to hold me up while I would try to walk. And seriously, it sounds silly or it sounds impossible, but my knees were so shaky. They told me that for every day that you stay in bed and don't walk, that you lose 3 days of strength. So I was in the hospital for like 64 or however many days of not walking. So times that by 3, and that's how much strength I lost. And so when I finally could stand up and hang on to these parallel bars, my knees were so weak and wobbly, I barely could take, I think the first time I took 3 steps, and then I had to sit down. I felt like I was going to fall. Like, I think back to what I did when I was first starting to walk again, and it felt like such a ginormous step that I was doing so good that I could do this. I mean, now I look back and I think, geez, I could walk way farther than that and it's no big deal. But back then, it was a big deal because I think I was so worried that I was never going to walk again. It was so scary that, that I had lost all of my strength forever, and I thought that I was going to just be stuck in bed from then on, and that I was never going to be able to get up and walk, and I was never going to. So anyway, once I was, standing up at the parallel bars, taking a couple of steps, now I look back on it and think it was no big deal, but I remember how I felt at the time, feeling like, wow, I'm actually taking a few steps, because I was so worried that, I was never going to walk again. I remember laying in the hospital bed, looking out the window, thinking, this is it. This is my life. I'm going to be in bed with a catheter. Couldn't even get up to go potty because I had no strength to walk. And, for almost 3 months or whatever, that was my life. Stuck in bed with a catheter, with a PICC line in my arm for medicine because my veins were collapsing or whatever. That caused me to get a blood clot, first in one arm, then they took it out of that arm, put it in the other arm. A few weeks later I got a blood clot in that arm too, so I had blood clots in each arm. I think they tried to put one in my neck, but they, when they put the line in, they said the vein in my neck was clogged up too. Like, I really felt like I was gonna die. I just felt like I couldn't walk. I was filled up with blood clots in all my veins. They couldn't put, and that's, in fact, that's when thankfully I was starting to feel better and get better and not need so much medicine, that I just told them, forget it. I don't want, the next thing they were talking about was, they had put one like in your, like right under your collarbone. I can't remember what it's called now, but it was, I think it was called a central line. And they put the central line like right under your collarbone. And so I let them try that one time. and he said that the lines were so clogged up he couldn't get it in there, and it also hurt me really bad while he was trying to do it. So I just said, no, it's it. It's enough. You know, I was at the second of 3 hospitals. They couldn't do a PICC line in either arm because I had a blood clot in each arm. They tried it in my neck and they couldn't do it there. And I just said, you know what? It's enough. Like, I obviously wasn't, you know, on my deathbed. I was doing okay without the PICC lines and stuff, but I guess they wanted to give me a medicine, some kind of medicine that does better through the IV more so than pill. Like, they do have a pill form, but they wanted to put it IV. And I was like, you know what, it's too much. Like, I think I remember breaking down crying and thinking, you know what, I feel like I could be dying or something. Like, they're causing all my veins to clog up, and they couldn't get a PICC line in anywhere. And I was like, just give it to me by pill form. I've had enough of all the IVs and stuff. But anyway, that was kind of a turning point. Once I was at that second hospital and they had clogged me so much that all my veins, that I couldn't have another IV. I was like, this is it. Like, it's when I like forced myself to try to get better. Like, I asked them to take out, well, I waited first until I could take more steps at the parallel bars. You know, I waited until I could take 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 steps, and then they graduated me from the parallel bars to just walking with the walker down the hall. And I think Dill put up one of the clips of me walking with the walker. So once I got to that point, that was at the second hospital. Once I got to that point where I could walk with the walker, is where I felt like they were happy to just keep me in there forever, and I wasn't happy with being in there. I wanted out. So once I was able to walk that far like that with the walker, I asked them to take the catheter out so that I could just get up and go potty, you know, in the bathroom. I would use the walker to go potty. And so that kind of was the turning point when things started looking up. Then they moved me, because I guess the thing is, too, is that you can only be, your insurance, my insurance would only let me be in each hospital for like 30 or 32 days or something like that. And so when it was approaching the 30 or 32 days or whatever, and they started talking about moving me to another hospital, I was like, how about if I just go home? And they're like, well, you're not really ready to go home yet. So then they moved me to the third one, which was the one that Dill was talking about, that was kind of more like a care home, like a convalescent hospital or whatever, where you go there to get better. Some older people live there, you know, just live there every day. But I was in there to recuperate and go through therapy and stuff. And so I just feel like this dog is going to bite me because she's got a rawhide right here by my bosom. And I'm really going to feel that if she bites me. Anyway, so I went to the third hospital, asked him to take out the catheter before I left the second hospital. And from that point on, I was walking. I was not in bed. I mean, I was in bed, but I was not staying in bed. I went to therapy, physical therapy, every morning and every afternoon. I got up from my bed and used the walker to go to the bathroom. And I ended up staying in that hospital for 14 days, just at 2 weeks. And at that point, it was like December 14th, and I definitely wanted to get out of there before Christmas. So then I came home. That was still at the other apartment. So since then, we had applied for another apartment, which we did get. We're at the next apartment now that's cheaper, a little bit cheaper on rent. And I think it's a better neighborhood. It may not be the best neighborhood, but it seems to be a better neighborhood than what we were in. And, you know, there's lots of little trails and places to walk with sidewalk that I can walk, like pushing a grocery cart for some stability because I'm real worried about my balance. And so I can do that. I can go to the pool to do water walking. Sometimes we'll take the dogs to the dog park now that we have a vehicle, to let them get out. If we can't get them to the dog park, then they just go outside, you know, here. And I do still use, you know, I've been hearing a few little questions about why am I still using a wheelchair. And I've run into people at the store that are asking, why are you still in the wheelchair? So the story about the wheelchair is, when I was 700, I ruined my knees. Like, I now have them to where their cartilage, the cartilage is gone and they're like bone on bone. So there's good days and bad days. Some days they hurt worse than others. But they're pretty much shot, and the doctor was saying at some point I may have to get a total knee replacement, like one at a time. I'm hoping it never gets to that point, and that maybe once I get down to my 200 goal weight, maybe they'll, you know, feel better. I don't trust you, honey. You're gonna bite me. You know, maybe once I get down to 200, they'll feel a lot better and I won't have to worry about the knee replacement. I don't know about that yet. But the reason why I'm using the wheelchair is two reasons. One is the painful knees that hurt every day. And two is, when I was at 700, and even now I'm only like half that size, I feel like my balance isn't the best. Like, I don't have enough confidence in myself to just freely walk. Like, I can walk in the house here. I never use the walker in the house, or I do use a wheelchair like if I'm sitting in the kitchen to cook and stuff, because I have I guess what's called the handicap kitchen, where underneath the sink, the kitchen sink is open so that you could like roll your chair and your knees can go right under the sink, and the sink sits down lower or whatever, which makes it really convenient if you want to cook or do dishes or something for a long period of time. You can do that. I do cook stand up sometimes, but a lot of times I've always got the chair right there so that if I feel the need to sit down, or if I feel like I'm about to lose my balance, I can just sit in my chair right there. So it's two reasons. It's because I'm scared of my balance, I don't want to fall down, and it's because of the knee pain that I have just about every day. Careful, baby. She's chomping on a pig's ear. But anyways, so, and then I also still have the power chair, which, it's a 750-pound capacity, so now obviously I'm not that big, but it still works. And for a long time when we didn't have a car, I kind of used it as a car, and I would hop in it and ride myself to the grocery store, because obviously I'm not going to try to walk to the grocery store, you know, kind of far when I'm worried about my balance or my knee pain. And so because it's a power chair with the joystick and the batteries or whatever, I could comfortably get in it. It has elevating leg rests so that when I have, you know, my lymphedema in my legs is a problem, and when my legs hang down for too long, it gets very uncomfortable and they get swollen, and I can feel them swelling up at the moment when they're doing it. And so so anyways, when I am in my power chair, you know, it gets me outside into the fresh air, and I can just go, you know, there's several different grocery stores and Walmart and different places very close by, the pharmacy, whatever I need to go to. I can hop in the power chair and just go on my own. If it's a nice day and I just want to get out of the house, you know, a lot of times I don't need to take the car, or I don't want Dill to have to drive me, and I just feel like being a little more independent, and I'll just hop in the power chair, and you know, I can have a couple of bags of groceries and seatbelt them to, there's a bar behind it that has a little seatbelt thing, and I can just seatbelt the bags to the back of my chair, and I can go and be gone a couple hours. You know, I've always been very independent, and I love to be out there. I love to mingle with people and get fresh air and just talk to, you know, strangers and be friendly to other people. I love being out there. I'm a big people person. And so, be careful, baby. So, I just, you know, that's why, you know, I'm hoping not to get too much hate for still using the chair. It's not always so much that I have to have it or I couldn't survive without it, because that's not true. Sure, I could survive without it, but as long as I still have it, as long as it's working, and I can use it as a vehicle, kind of, sort of, to get myself to the grocery store and have a little bit of independence, and, you know, give Dill a break from me, and just get out there. Sometimes I'll also hook the dog one at a time up to their harness, and I'll take them for a WALK, which I cannot say in front of them, or they'll freak out because they'll want to do it right now. You know, I'll do that in my power chair sometimes too. The way I look at it is, as long as I have it and it's still working, I'm going to take advantage of it. So, that's why I still use that. Is not always so much out of, you know, necessity, but just if I've got it, I might as well take advantage of it. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being out there and being independent. So, and I can drive again now. I think I put a little picture of me up on Facebook or something of me driving. I can drive now. It's the first time, I want to say, in 8 or 9 years, and I enjoyed the, you know, the fact that I got behind the wheel and I did it. But I actually kind of like Dill to drive me around too. Like, he enjoys driving. He's the man of the family, so I pretty much let him do most of the driving. But if I needed to, or if I wanted to, I can drive. So let's see, what else? You need a cough drop, Dill. What else was I gonna update on? I'm gonna try to start making some videos of maybe me trying to cook a healthy, a good, you know, recipe that's good for after the gastric bypass. I'm gonna try to get outside, maybe with one of the dogs or something, in my power chair, and take them for a walk and have you guys on the camera and just talk to you while I'm out in a beautiful day. And I don't know what, like, also, you know, in the comments or send me a private message or whatever if you have some video ideas of something that you would like to see, or something that you'd like me to address. Seriously, my life is an open book. I have nothing to hide. I am too old for lying and game playing. I'm 53 years old now, and I don't have anything to hide. So if you have some questions, or if you want to know why I looked this way or said that, or something that seems weird to you, ask me. I will straight up give you an honest answer. I have no reason to lie about it. So I guess I'm going to bring this kind of to a close. I think I've talked for almost an hour now, and I just want to say that thank you for your support. I know there are some that don't support me, and I'm really sorry for that. I just wish that you could realize that not everything you see on TV is 100% real, and I am going to, you know, try to do some interesting videos from now on of, you know, showing me with some activity with the dogs, with cooking, with whatever. And if you have ideas, please send them my way so I can do something that interests you as well. And I just want to say thanks for your support, and I will see you guys very soon on the next one, and I hope y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.